Hello Scorpio, and welcome to your February reading. So if you're cross-watching and check any other videos, then probably you have learned that I had all monthly videos just vanished into thin air because I get really affected with pre-Mercury retrograde. So this is just to keep in mind how things can happen, right? That you can actually put lots of hard work in something and it's just going to be taken away. So kind of like to land back and kind of like find like myself on a firm ground again, I simply took it as a sign that, hey, you know what, maybe I need to have a completely different approach, and that's what I'm doing. So guys, hello, my name is Kat and this is Kat Tarot. I'm going to be guiding you through this process, and if you find any message, this is for you. Not everything will be for you because I'm pretty sure there are other people who will be also guided to listen to this reading. So if you find any messages that you find you really resonate with, please click the subscribe button and that bell on it, because it's going to be able, whatever the energy, spirit guide, angel, find you next time around, and you might get even more. So let's start, Scorpio. Let's see what is going on. We are going to transition of Aquarius. Aquarius square Scorpio. This can be a little bit of, let's say, sharp kind of like turns that you really need to do. So just have to make sure that, like, you are not overly stepping on your brakes. So you're getting like two cards. You're getting rainbow and you're getting tree grounding. I'm just like shocked, because when I was shuffling for a Pisces, which I just did before you, like the same two cards jumped, but sort of like tree was like, I'm not so sure if I'm coming out. So I just like took rainbow from that thing. So I don't know if there's like something that you're connecting with the real Pisces in life, or because we are going in the sun in Pisces on the 18th, that something is going to really turn around over there. We are going to see. This is really, really amazing, because the grounding is something that really appeals to you, that you really have to go below. And this is where you guys are an expert, right? Go in, inner world, kind of like feeling the strong roots, feeling that something is there, that something will last, that something will progress further. Let me just try to lift it up a little bit. So, and rainbow is like up, like the energy, like look how actually similar these two cards are, like almost like they have the uplift at the same time over there, right? So this is kind of like that mixture between the sun and water, which is kind of creating those little prisms in the air. And it evokes different feelings, and it's never anything bad. It's always the joy and excitement, and it's almost like fireworks, except we feel special when we see something like that. And that's why we say wish upon a rainbow, wish upon a star. These are kind of like very, very simple kind of like things. Let me see what else I can see here. Then you're getting 10 of cups. This one wanted to come out. You're getting 9 of pentacles, and you're getting 8 of cups. It's almost like you're feeling that something is calling you. Maybe some kind of like somebody's far away possibly from you. Maybe you're feeling their vow, because what is happening during, let me just try to zoom it in for you so you can see this better. That's better. Because what's happening during Mercury retrograde, right? Like this Mercury retrograde is in a transition of Aquarius. So when Aquarius is dominant, right? This is kind of like one of the signs where Mercury retrograde flows freely and gently. But it's also dominating, while it's a Valentine's Day, is in this sign, and it's dominating more or less platonic relationships where we kind of like are existing just because we want to, in my opinion. And of course it's very subjective. I'm Aquarius. Those relationships are the strongest, because you're staying there because you really like this person. There is like nothing, there's no power over this person. You don't want a power over this person. This person doesn't have a power over you. You don't feel like going out, you just say so, right? You kind of like express your true moods. That's the real friendship. And platonic is also, there's no catch attach. You're not kind of hoping something is going to come out of it, that you're going to kind of like go and move in a different direction with a person, and so on and so forth. So, and that's me moving my rocking chair here and moving my whole tripod with it, right? So what you guys have over here, right? So you have some kind of like energy that is really coming to some kind of like either finality or fruition. There's like something really, really strongly coming through. You have like this 9 of Earth, which to me, it's extremely positive energy. I almost like think that we need to have this energy in order to move forward in any endeavor, especially if that endeavor is with somebody else, right? But this is really interesting because you have first 10 of Cups, 10 of Sea over here. Look at how lovely this really is. It's the whole family gathered together, happiness and excitement. And you do have this full moon because it's connecting to the emotional aspect, right? Here, we don't have moon self-evident, but this big circle that certain things are coming back to kind of like something that we maybe really worked on. Maybe last 9 months you spent some time to rebuild something, right? Like we have like this gestation of a child is like about 9 months, right? But what is really interesting to me is like you're going from 10 to 9, right? So it's kind of like maybe this big engagement with a family and something which was very fruitful and which is very fruitful. Maybe it becomes overwhelming, and this is kind of like one of the problems that we fixed signs have. We want to get somewhere. We have the goal. Well, let's say I think your goal was, I really want to have this family. I want to have this unit. I think I'm going to be moving forward with this, right? But then you almost like become selfish of your own time, right? So that is a trade-off. You need to understand that not everything, you don't pull everything and just upgrade on it, right? There's like something, however, that you feel that maybe you're missing in a relationship over here. And that's maybe why this 8 of Cups is really showing up, right? 8 of Cups in a regular deck, it shows usually, let me just turn on the light over here. It usually turns the lady that is blindfolded, that kind of like doesn't know in which direction to go. But here, like, you know, like I'm hearing, this kitty is hearing this kind of like distant seas, and there's like a little squirrel on the top of it, which means it's going to kind of like move in a really, really good direction. So I think you guys a little thorn between being cocooned in something emotionally. It looks like you're emotionally achieving what you really wanted, but also at the same time maybe you're feeling a little bit kind of like scattered and spacey and not fully in your body. And you're like, guys, one of those signs, remember, look at the tree, pulling it down. You really need to really feel it, right? So that's kind of like quite literal when it really comes to talking to your sign, because you know our body is made out of the materials of the earth, right? So when we feel disconnected from our body, like maybe like, I mean, this simply means we are disconnected from earth. So you need to get yourself grounded, and this is kind of like this grounding method over here, right? So what does it mean? Put your feet firmly planted on the ground, because maybe you're asking something of someone who is maybe not capable of giving it to you, because this generally card comes up in readings where I see, for example, I have somebody asking, like, is he or she going to leave their mate? And then I get this card. I'm going to say no. But that's not because they don't want to. It is because the situation is not right? So, for example, to use a drastic example, maybe somebody's diagnosed with something and this is really not a time to introduce more stress. Or themselves, they're not sure, and this is what you really worry. In your case, this kind of came after grounding, which means you kind of like really understand there's like something that needs to be achieved. Maybe there's like something missing. You're feeling there's something missing, and you really kind of like want to kind of like explore this and kind of like go in this direction. So let me now do the Grand Slam or a Celtic cross, which I usually do in my monthly readings. And guys, you know, if you want your own reading, please contact me via cattarot.ca. So let's see, Scorpio for the love month. This is so weird, right? That February, the coldest, depressing month, is love month, but I guess that's when we snuggle and kind of like do stuff. And honestly, people are saying this is really hard to date these days. This is how it was for 19th century. People didn't have the internet. It's much better. So again, half full, half glass, half empty, half full, kind of which way you're going to look at it. So let's see, Scorpios. So we are starting with Six of Sky. So sixes and nines are going to be connecting with Mercury retrograde, and how much of effect is going to have on you. Mercury retrograde is finished on 20th. Prior to 20th, astrologically, we are going to have a few difficult dates. Around the 17th, Saturn squares Uranus. Saturn is authoritarian. Uranus is like that crazy black sheep child. So black sheep child is just completely publicly kind of like denying everything. So it can talk about overthrowing the regime. It can talk about simply shaking up traditional rules and so on and so forth. Something will be up that day, right? So we have a Six of Sky. We have Death. Whoa, this is your card. So it's kind of like not really concerning. Even the, oh my gosh, isn't this so sad in this deck? All these 9 lives are now gone. So the body is left, and body is nourishing the planet, but the souls continue to live on. So there is, to me, telling me about some kind of transformation. It again could be about the tree. It could be some kind of like new thing sprouting, and that you maybe have that need for something new to come through, right? You have strength. Strength is about commitment. Strength is about something that we truly want to manifest in our life. But for this, it takes a little bit of more kind of like you cannot be rough around the edges. This is the card of diplomacy. This is the card of good communication. This is the card of patience. This is the card of truly listening. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. For a reason. We have to listen twice as much in order to really comprehend what other people are telling us. These are 2 very, very strong cards, because strength usually represents Leo. Leo is also a fixed sign, just as you are, and you are also having a square to Leo. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a better angle. There we go. Shouldn't be moving this in the first place. So when there is a square with Leo, and you're also kind of like right now looking for transition during Aquarius, we just had full moon in Leo. So it could be that you had a little bit kind of like feathers ruffled over the last few days. And there is like maybe some method to this madness that is coming out of it, which kind of like needs to be seen. Yep. This kind of confirms what we have seen previously, having a 2 of Wands or 2 of Fire. Do I want to go in or out? Shall I stay? Should I go? Kind of a thing, right? We know the curiosity killed the cat, and there's going to be no freaking way, even on Antarctica, they're not going to freaking walk out. But there is like this sense of kind of like something new, an adventure, when it's out there, like always going out, it's creating something else. You are just simply on the brink of maybe reinventing yourself, of creating something new, creating something that kind of creates a better direction of a sort. In there is a love connection. There's like something super duper nice and romantic coming on, and that kind of like would go back to the 10 of Cups that I have seen. Maybe somebody, and this is in Cups, right? We can see this connection also via Lover's card, and that's more like it makes sense, where this doesn't need to make sense. It can be simply that, oh, you know, you're feeling it because you are one of those signs. You find something on a person. This person has awesome eyes, or something that is almost like different. A person moves in a way that I like it. It's almost like that very sensual, sensitive kind of like way you approach. This doesn't need to mean that, you know, it's going to be universally kind of like the same way to the other people. But that's what matters. You're a fixed sign. You're going to fixate on it, right? Whoa. And this is also kind of like Pluto. This connects to you. You have good kitty. That's judgment card. It's also karma card, right? So now you have like three basically majors that so far creating a triangle. And so this is the trinity, kind of like commitment, regeneration, rebirth. And this is sort of a it's not so much rebirth, it's rather release of life, release of expectation. It's rather kind of like lift off, if you wish. This is almost like telling us, you know, one cycle has ended, and the reason why it ended is nothing can be built upon further on this one, right? And that's why you had this 10 of cups and a 9 of pentacles before. This is a karma card where generally you kind of come up on a positive side where things actually do work out better. So that's kind of going to be interesting. And there it is, 9 of earth repeating. It's kind of like all of these things are brewing and you are still saying, nope, I'm nice and cozy where I am. This is not you. This is a really good situation to have, a situation of accomplishment, situation of feeling cocooned, situation of having basically this time for yourself. So it is kind of a duality, I would say, this month. Maybe you have some work kind of like issues, a career kind of like oriented stuff where you just simply kind of like don't have patience or will for any kind of like fighting. And maybe you're thinking about there's like a time to move forward in a new direction where maybe you're not completely clear about what the direction is, which you're kind of creating this placemat, kind of like all these directions are big question mark. And now on these placemats that are going along this path, you're putting, I wanted this, and I wanted this, and I wanted this, and I wanted this. So it might not be the first shot that you get all of that, but you're moving along this path, and each time you're building upon it, and that's going to be really important. 8 of Earth, it's in your environment. So I don't know, it could be that you're dealing with the mother and the kids, or you're dealing with some kind of like skill training. You're working maybe on kind of like looking in the details in a situation. These two cards are really connecting, and that's another 8 over here that is repeating. You also have 2 2s, which is also very significant as well, because jointly, like, I mean, you kind of preparing yourself for the next stage of some sort. This is about skillfulness. It's somebody who is kind of like navigating and possibly having skills to train somebody else. So be open. Somebody has a contribution to make. Somebody is natural at it, right? So almost looks to me, because of this fixedness, and this is a Leo and it's a Scorpio coming through, and it's again Scorpio, tree is very fixed as well. Maybe you really need to kind of like look on the bright side of life, right? Look at that lightness. Allow somebody to come through, because that, I think, is going to be really hard for you this month. In your hopes and fears is the Emperor, and you clearly want a strong, solid partner. You want to know where you are, how you're handling things. This can represent Aries for those of you who are connecting kind of like horoscope signs over here. The Emperor is generally more or less a detailed analysis of the situation, where this is kind of like that feeling of the situation, which is really interesting. This is kind of like what you're striving for, which is natural for you, but this is kind of like what is appearing, as well as combined with this is, does this make sense? So you're kind of like filtering things. On one hand, your intellect is going in a direction. On the other hand, you're feeling emotionally, oh my gosh, everybody's going to tell me I have everything. Everybody's going to tell me I'm ungrateful, but I really, really want this, right? Maybe it's kind of like time to kind of like generate these fruits and kind of like go up and up and up. You really want to feel lighter. There is like a big feeling. And then I also have the moon, and I think this is more or less talking about Pisces. And February 27th, we are going in a full moon in Virgo, and kind of like these two signs. First of all, this is Pisces, which is turning on the 18th this month. So it's going to be completely different energy for you. It's going to be this big switch. You're going to feel it really, really strongly between the 18th and 20th. 17th, it might be a huge freaking blow up. and then I think you'll be back on your feet right away. So just try to avoid any work kind of like issues, anything from the 15th to at the very least 20th. That week, just reserve it for, I'm busy, nose to the grindstone, I'm just like doing my own stuff, right? Because the moon can also talk about jealousy, and I can see how this happens, because look, this moon here is mirroring this 9 of earth over here. I want yellow, I want a little bit sunshine in the picture, especially when we have this yellow over here. So they are kind of like reflecting each other, almost rotating around, because look at here, you have like 2 majors over here. Actually, you have like 4 majors over here. So there's like this massive, this is no more triangle, it's a pyramid, because it is flat, but it would may not be flat if I just put it in a 3D. The moon can talk a little bit over, so, and this is the dilemma for you. You kind of like want things to work out properly, possibly dealing with some kind of financial arrangements or budgeting or government, that kind of sort of things, or dealing with some kind of negotiation with somebody on that level where it's kind of like taking away emotional enjoyment, which kind of like you want. So the way you are, because you're water sign, you kind of create a completely new universe, a new world. So you need to kind of like realize that there's like some kind of like both pragmatic and romantic things happening. So this can talk about overly romanticizing. It's kind of like a little girl, little boy feeling, you know, like I want to be a fireman when I grow up, or I want to be whatever, princess, right? So these are those dreams, and it can actually really take us in a direction that is not really healthy. So the moon can definitely talk about jealousy. You might be having somebody in your life who kind of like does it. So I'm going to kind of connect this moon and death and see what kind of clarification we get. That's right. There's like somebody who is, I think they're creating some kind of like pressure on your own system. Melody to me always talks about the depression, right? Always talks about needing to have a doctor or some kind of like counseling. It's a weakened state of mind, but it also kind of like tells me that somebody is unable to cope with the situation. It could be some kind of like burden altogether, right? So the good news is this is reversed, right? As I said, this is transformation. Maybe you have to watch somebody who is just willing to pounce and jump, right? So this is the meaning of healing, right? And it's just the end of period of some kind of confusion and sickness. Maybe you had arguments with somebody, and maybe you kind of like broke up with somebody, wanted to be left alone, and you kind of like really focused on a career over here, right? And that was a commitment to the career, not so much to the relationship. But you did have the goal that the relationship was really, really important, right? So that could mean that, let's say after this breakup, these 2 parties, like the 2 of you came back to their senses, right? And now resolve your issues, which maybe was misunderstanding. That's Mercury retrograde is for, right? Where we really reunite with old friends. Maybe you had a girlfriend, boyfriend, which became a friend, and now you're going to be back to kind of like where it was, because now you'll be in a unique position to resolve your obstacles, right? So guys, also, if that is simply about healing of some sort, then this month is going to be very productive, and it's going to be some kind of like push forward that you're going to feel really, really comfortable about. So my Scorpio, I hope you did manage to take some notes. Please feel free to leave comment, and comment is not what I think about this reading. Comment is a question. I expect you to have questions. Hey, what do I do here? What do I do there? So that way I can communicate to you and kind of like give you more information. As I said, it could be just tidbits of information. You only connect with this 2 of Cups. You know what the hell this is. I'm going to tell you when was the last time you checked your bills, and so on and so forth, right? So guys, if you really want to find more about me, please go on cattarot.ca, and that's my website where you can also book a reading. I also have Instagram and Facebook where I daily post daily kind of like readings, and also every Saturday is a live reading. And it's awesome because if you're part of a live reading, every single sign is actually a message for you, because that's how it works. You're there, your energy, you're filtering it through your needs, to your problems, to your wishes, and also to the sign that is coming through. Plus, you get to ask your own question. I have the door segments, and then you ask your own question. I pull the cards, and you pick the card, and you get the answer. So hopefully I'll see you on Saturday, every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time. And I hope to see you there. And in the meantime, love to hear from you. If you guys are a subscriber already and you don't get my notifications, then please make sure you click on this bell, because YouTube did a number on me and many other smaller channels. And I'm hoping that kind of like I can restore this back. So thank you so much, guys. I wish you all the best, and looking forward to seeing you, talking to you soon, and communicating with you. Love you. Take care.